I miss them.
Well, they should be on their way by now.
Will it feel like it used to? With everyone so busy these days.
It will be fine.
Suddenly, feels like I'm gonna fall. I can see all of my dreams so perfectly.
Oh, yeah, line up! Single file!
Love's not a dream at all. Somebody.
Grandpa, what was Grandma like?
She always found ways to bring us all together. It took me a while to discover how she does it.
Devon King's taste that brings us all together.
Ho, ho, ho. Aha. No. Aha. Well done.
Merry Pigmas!
Whether you like it or not, the dryness and dust is coming. And this time, it might not give up that easily. But do the people have the power to shake it off?
Well, of course they do, and you do too. Kick dry skin to the curb and get smooth, intensely nourished skin with Nivea's deep moisture lotions and lip balms. Follow the story online, #DoneWithDryness.
I used to care for the world's opinion. I used to beg for validation. But the fire that burned in me was my power.
Because my time is now.
I'm still Malta. Be your best.
Hello and welcome. It's Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. Nimasa This Week is brought to you by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. Statutorily mandated to ensure that there is regulation and promotion of matters affecting our
Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime, showing on this channel.
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Welcome to your favorite program, The Moment of Truth, brought to you by the Citadel Global Community Church. Our God is a God of salvation, far above all principality and power, and might and dominion, that regardless of what happens in this season, you will escape. Say to your neighbor, there is no peace for the wicked. The lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting, but diligence is a man's precious possession. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Moment of Truth with Pastor Tunde Bakari, Sundays, 7 p.m. on PlusTvAfrica.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions. Inside
Happy New Year to our viewers all over the world.
Morning, Judy Johnson.
All right. Let's start off with the Leadership newspaper this morning, and we'll be checking out the top stories on the Leadership newspaper. The banner caption says, "Drawing the boundaries, Defense Headquarters warns politicians against using of military uniforms for campaigns." That's what you find on the board caption. Now, we have several riders. Let's see if we can take you through all of them. Says troops killed 1,910 terrorists in 2021. U.S. Embassy confirms approval for use of Super Tucano jets in Northeast. And bandit release 28 abducted villagers in Niger. Joining APC offers no immunity from corruption trial. That's what the president is quoted to say. Dantata advocates return to parliamentary system of government. You also find why we want Osibanjo for president. That's what the group is quoted to say. And protests oppose reopening of Doan College. Gunmen bomb Imo police station and free detainees. So you constantly have this issue of a prison break just dominating the entire polity. That's how much we can take on the leadership newspaper this morning.
To the Nigerian Tribune this morning, big story, autumn to Buhari, declare Mieti Allah as a terrorist organization. Okay. Rejection of state police. You are working against interests and will of Nigerians. MBF tells Buhari. Buhari's excuse for opposing state police holds no water, says Adebanjo. And also Nigerians will reject Buhari's preferred candidate. And that's from the PDP. Also on the Tribune, Sylvester Oromoni, coroner to commence inquest into cause of death on the 15th of January. Ijaw youths protest, vow to disrupt academic activities if school reopens. And we can also find here, gunmen attack police division, free detainees in Imo.
And check out the Punch newspaper this morning. Super Tucano deployment. NAF plans bandit bombardment, allays fears over civilian casualties. U.S. warns federal government. That's a bold caption you find there. Military to target forests, bandit camps, not civilian areas. Usage must conform with international, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria. PDP will take over if APC leaders fail on convention. That's what the president is quoted to say. Federal government will merge agencies, won't sack workers, says finance minister. And away from that now, you also find Lagos community decries cemetery invasion by suspected ritualists and robbers. Panic as herdsmen lead over 1,000 cows to Oshogbo under darkness. Amoteku contends headers. Still, you still have interesting headlines. Let's see if we can take one or two just before we move away now. And another header says, Lagos community decries, okay, I took that already. APC stakeholders demand progressive governors, DG's sacking, threatens protest. And responses to my presidential beat overwhelming and encouraging. IM is quoted on that. That's the much that we can take this morning. But I also find this other one. Bloodbath in Zamfara communities as bandits killed 200 and scores missing.
200.
200. And this is at the point where we're talking about
APC. And convention, first crisis in APC as stakeholders threaten nationwide protest. 5 indigenous companies jostle for $3 billion shells onshore oil fields. Autumn asks Buhari to declare Mieti Allah as terrorist. In 2023, Southeast PDP leaders endorse Ayim's presidential bid. We can also find here 2023 presidency entrenched interest in APC plotting to pull me down, says Fayemi. And Buhari pledges intervention in Mali crisis. Because of time, we're going to quickly just bring in Judy Johnson to get his thoughts in on these stories. Judy Johnson, good morning once again.
Well, good morning. And once again, happy New Year to our viewers all over the world. So,
all right.
I
want to see if we can take as many of, because there's so many of them that sound really, really interesting. So I want us to, if we can do every story in 2 minutes max. Let's start with the, protest by Ijaw youths, that, if the school, the Doan College reopens, that there will be a protest. And of course, the coroner to commence inquest into the cause of his death on the 15th of January.
One of the challenges we have is that sometimes we report issues from governmental point of view without waiting for the necessary agents of government to do the needful. A lot of commentators, a lot of public affairs analysts have come to a conclusion with respect to what happened in Doan College. And sometimes you must respect them. Institutions of or report comes out and it does not go in the direction with which they think it should go, then we have chaos in this site.
Is that maybe because of a trust deficit, between the people and government agencies, MTAs and the likes?
You see that it has even taken an ethnic coloration. You can see the you threaten to anything that affects every Nigerian. Listen, we are all Nigerians, regardless of whichever area of Nigeria see. We can't afford to bring another chaos as a result of the outcome of a report, an interim report that we have received, and we come to a conclusion. You can ask an independent panel to look into it if you are not satisfied with the process. And there are means and measures which you could explore through the legal means to seek redress if you are not satisfied with the process. I don't think taking laws into one's hand will solve the problem.
All right, G.D. Johnson, let's share your thoughts. Civilian casualties.
So must they come out in the public domain and say that we are starting to, in Nigeria, follow that protocol and you reduce the level of civilian casualty? Then you are in order. But I am thinking about that. We want to strike that engage in guerrilla warfare, not state actors that do not have fixed location, and then you go on here and announce that we are going to start. So what you are telling them, you are warning them ahead of time that they should leave. I wonder the way you pin down the enemy, you strike them. There's a particular thing that you strike the iron when it's off. You know what the approach they are taking now? They've given the bandits head start to move away from whatever location they found themselves. So exactly, the bandits already probably. Yeah.
But I mean, that might just be on a lighter note. But I'm just saying that I understand where you're coming from. But I mean, no specific date, however. Maybe you might have.
And the Iranian general was announced. We all saw when December 2020, when Americans sent their agents to come and rescue special agents in Morocco. From Morocco, they will fly to northern Nigeria. Northern Nigeria, they will say, give me a break. These people are just, I don't know. I don't know whether they are fighting.
With the killing of the Al-Qaeda leader back then.
Baghdadi in Syria, Iraq border. So they should give us a break. They should give us a break. These bandits are fighting guerrilla warfare. Yeah, they are fighting guerrilla warfare. They don't have fixed location. So you pin them down, you strike them, you demobilize them, and then you allow the ground forces to it's a coordinated war like that. You don't fight war. If you want journalists to have access to what you want to do, what you do is that you have some of them embedded in your team. And as you carry out your onslaught, after you are through with your onslaught, they release the footage of what you have done. Not before you go and attack them, and then you send, okay, these are the equipment that the army has resuscitated. These are what they are going to use to fight bandits. Oh, give me a break. You don't fight a war like that.
J.D. Johnson, but once again, let's hope that the bandits don't read the Punch newspapers. Let's move to the Tribune. Otom Buhari declare Mieti Allah as terrorist organization. Of course, I'm sure this is coming on the heels of the bandits being declared a terrorist, and of course his statements on state police. Adebanjo says Buhari's excuse for opposing state police holds no water. But let's start with the governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, asking that Mieti Allah be declared a terrorist organization.
Has been addressed to a certain extent. That does not foreclose that we still have some skirmishes here and there. However, if you look at the state of things